Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you all are doing well. This is Mohammad Badrudria back again with the third lab of the CORS vulnerability. And in this lab, we are gonna see CORS vulnerability with trusted insecure protocol. Okay, so the lab description is saying this website has an insecure CORS configuration in that it trusts all subdomains regardless of the protocol. To solve the lab, craft some JavaScript that uses CORS to retrieve the administrator's API key and upload the code to your exploit server. The lab is solved when you successfully submit the administrator's API key, similar to the previous labs, and we have one valid credential to log in. Now, there is a hint which is saying if you could man in the middle attack the victim or MITM the victim, you could use a MITM attack to hijack a connection to an insecure subdomain and inject malicious JavaScript to exploit the CORS configuration. But unfortunately, the lab environment, in this lab environment, you cannot use MITM to the victim. So you will need to find an alternative way to inject JavaScript into the subdomain. Okay, that means because you cannot directly perform man in the middle, so we have to find out maybe another kind of vulnerability that we will chain it to exploit the core. Okay, CORS means cross origin resource sharing. So let's go. I'm directly going to access the lab. Okay, here we have our burp suite, and let's see that we have traffic here. So you can see the traffic. So this is our lab. I'm going to directly log in. So WIENER Wiener is the username, Peter is the password. Don't save, and you can see we have API key, but this API key belongs to my user, which is Wiener. This is the post request where we log in, and this is the request of the home page of the user or dashboard. And as previous labs, you can see here we will have one Ajax script through which we are actually going to retrieve the API key and all with this endpoint. Okay, so this is our endpoint, and here you can see we have the user details, which is username, email address, API key, session ID. Fine. Now our purpose is to get the API key of administrator user. So first thing first, if I just take this, because you can see here in the response header, we have access control allow credential that indicates that CORS is implemented. So I'm going to send this request to the repeater, and I will send this request one more time to see I'm getting the response correctly. And let's now test the CORS. So we can test it with by placing one request header named as origin, and the value of the origin, let's say https://example.com, and let's send the request. So once we send the request, you can see we do not find here access control allow origin request response header. So that means this is not allowed. So we are going to try whether I can access the same domain or I can access the same origin to make the request. And you can see access control allow origin response header appears here, and it reflects the same value what we put in the origin request header. Next thing I would like to test is let's say if we add some arbitrary subdomain. So let's say example dot, and this is the main domain name. Okay, so let's just send the request, and you can see within the response we have reflected here the subdomain what we put here. So that means whatever this domain, this origin is allowed, and its associated subdomains are also allowed. Okay, so even if I said avil dot this and send the request, you can see avil dot, so anything, any subdomain related to this domain is allowed. Last but not least, I also want to test null. Let's see null is allowed or not. Null is not allowed. Fine. We need to know, because man in the middle is not possible, so we will try to find out any subdomain, existing subdomain here we have or not. So this is the page, I'm going to proxy tab here. Let's go and check out any details of the product, and within the detail of the product, up to now we do not find any subdomain. So if we scroll down here, we have one feature with which we can check the stock, the number of products available on the particular location in the stock, so Paris, Milan and all. So check stock, and you can see here it open up one new window, and within the window it's showing stock available 489 number of products, same product. Okay, and you can see it seems like we found one new subdomain. So this is the subdomain stock dot, and then this is the domain name. So within web application penetration testing, this is a very important method. So whenever you go to test any domain, and subdomain is also allowed with that testing within the rule of engagement, so you must enumerate the subdomains, like you enumerate the directories and files within the application, you fuzz it. Similarly, you need to fuzz or enumerate the subdomains. Okay, so we found one subdomain which is stock, you can see here. And one more thing need to be pointed out here, that this is using only HTTP, not HTTPS. Okay, so that means this is insecure protocol. This subdomain request is using insecure protocol. Fine, that's perfect. Now what we need to check out here, okay, so product ID is 1, and again if we try to check stock, this is the complete URL with the subdomain. I need to test if this page is vulnerable to cross-site scripting. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just I cannot write here. Okay, no problem, I will do it in another way, and I will do it by turning on the interception. Okay, and let's go and click on check stock, forward this request. So this is the request, and what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to try first of all this parameter, product ID parameter, and I'm going to put here script alert, and close the script tag. Okay, and just forward this request. So once we forward, you can see we have here alert is popped up. That means this particular parameter, which is product ID, is vulnerable to reflected cross-site scripting. Okay, and this is how we can exploit the CORS, because we will forward our request to the exploit server, and we will exfiltrate the API key of the administrator user. So let's go. I'm going to the exploit server, and here in the exploit server, what I'm gonna do is script, close the script tag, and within this I'm gonna say document dot location, and because the location we found is this where is the stock, this one. So I'm going to just copy the complete URL, and I'm gonna paste that URL here. Oh, come on, here. Okay, now because we know that this product ID parameter is vulnerable to reflected cross-site scripting, so I'm gonna add here script and close the script tag. And you know what, the same payload what we used in the previous labs, the same payload we are going to use here. Okay, which is we need to create one XML HTTP object, then we need to define one function which is request listener, and then we have to made a request to the lab domain, and then we have to make the credentials equal to true, send the request, and specify the function. So to save the time, just to save the time, I'm going back here in any other lab from where we can just take that payload. So this is the second lab, and I'm going to take the payload, which is this one. So it is started from here up to here. Okay, copy that, open mouse pad, paste it here, and what you need to do basically, we need to convert it into the one-liner. Okay, so make it one-liner. Okay, so now this is one-liner. We just need to paste this same payload by changing the lab ID and the exploit server. So for that purpose, I'm going back here and repeater, take this one, copy, and we need to paste it here. https:// paste that, and make sure you specify this endpoint. This is very important. Okay, now our exploit server, so we have our exploit server here. This is our exploit server. So I'm going to take this, copy, back to the mouse pad, and your exploit server, this one, up to here, and paste this. Okay, https, and everything is here. Fine. Now just copy this one and paste it here. Okay, in this place. So paste that, and I think that's it. So what we need to do is store the exploit and deliver exploit to the victim and access log. You can see we get a hit, but nothing appears. We should get with the log /log endpoint. It should access /log endpoint, and within the key parameter, query parameter, we should get the rest of the information. So we have to see what's wrong here. Okay, so first of all, this thing, this plus sign, because maybe in the URL encoded value we have to specify this one. So I'm going back to the decoder and just encode it as URL encode. So encode it as URL. So this is %2b. Come back here, paste it here, and try to store it one more time and deliver exploit to the victim. Access logs, again hit but did not get anything. Back to the exploit server. Okay, let's see. Let's suggest this sign also encode it into the URL. So this is %3c. I'm gonna copy this and paste it here, store it one more time, and deliver exploit to the victim. Let's access the log, finger cross, and yeah, this time you can see parameter, query parameter, we have this information. Fine. So let's just copy everything. Control C, back to the burp suite decoder. I'm gonna paste that and smart decode it. This is the API key for the administrator. Let's go back to the application, submit solution, paste the API key for the administrator, click OK, and congratulations, you solved the lab. So that's it for this video. Hope you enjoy the lab. If you like the content, please like, subscribe and share. If you have any query, you can put your query in the comment section. I will try to respond on it as soon as possible. See you in the next video with next module. Bye.